Most people choosing Boston suburbs in 2026 are making the wrong decision. Not because the suburbs are bad, but because they're buying into a fantasy that doesn't match their real life. The most popular towns are often the ones that people regret the fastest. Every day I meet with buyers who think that they found their dream suburb because of a school ranking, a TikTok video, or something their coworker said. And then 6 months later, they're shocked by the commute, the pace, the pricing, or the lifestyle trade-offs that they didn't see coming. And in 2026, the stakes are higher than ever. With inventory tightening, competition rising, and more people relocating here than leaving, making the wrong suburb choice isn't just inconvenient, it can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars and years of your life living in a place that doesn't actually fit the way you want to live. A bad suburb choice in this market is a lifestyle tax, and most people don't realize it until it's too late. I've spent a decade helping people buy, sell, and relocate across Greater Boston, and I've watched more buyers regret their town than their house. I've seen every mismatch. The people who thought they wanted quiet but got bored, the ones who chased schools but couldn't handle the commute, the ones who stretched for a prestige zip code and felt trapped. So this isn't a list of bad suburbs. These are the suburbs you should avoid if the lifestyle you think you're getting isn't the lifestyle these towns actually offer. Let's get into the 10 biggest mismatched suburbs in Greater Boston and the real reasons people regret them. Before we dive in, I want to be really clear. Every single suburb on the list is fantastic for the right person. These are desirable, well-run communities with strong schools and loyal residents. The problem isn't the towns themselves. It's the gap between expectation and reality. In 2026, with rising competition and tightening inventory, a suburban mismatch is expensive and incredibly disruptive. You can't just test drive a suburb for 6 months and pivot without major financial consequences. My goal today is to help you avoid lifestyle regret, wasted money, and commute shock before you commit to the biggest purchase of your life. Winchester is one of those suburbs that looks perfect on paper. Buyers come in expecting prestige, top-tier schools, and a walkable town center that feels like suburban perfection. And Winchester does deliver on schools and community, but here's where the mismatch happens. First, the price escalation is significant. Even for homes that are dated or need work, you're paying a premium just to be in Winchester. The competition is intense and inventory moves really fast. Second, the walkability is village specific. If you're not in Winchester Center itself, you're driving everywhere. A lot of buyers assume that the whole town has a New England walkable feel, but most neighborhoods are car dependent. Third, the commute looks better on paper than it feels in daily life. Whether you're taking the commuter rail or driving, it's not as seamless as many buyers expect. Avoid Winchester if you're stretching financially to get in, or if you need a lively, social environment with more energy and variety. Winchester is great for families seeking stability, consistency, and elite schools in a well-established community, and those who can comfortably afford the entry price without the stress. Lexington has a reputation as the academic, peaceful, high-performing suburb. And it absolutely is for the right person. But here's what surprises buyers. First, the turnover is incredibly low. People stay in Lexington for decades, which means that inventory is tight and competition is fierce. Getting into the town can be harder than people realize. Second, the taxes are high. You're paying a premium for those schools and services, and that adds up significantly over time. Third, the commute varies dramatically depending on where you are in town. Some parts of Lexington feel close to Boston, others feel much more remote, and this catches people off guard. Fourth, the pace is slower than many buyers expect. Lexington isn't a high-energy, socially vibrant suburb. It's quiet, intellectual, and family-focused. And if you're looking for a buzzing social scene or a walkable downtown energy, you really won't find it that much here. Avoid Lexington if you want more energy, convenience, or lifestyle variety, or if you need an easier, more predictable commute. Lexington is great for families who prioritize education above almost everything else and want an intellectual, tight-knit community where they can put down roots. Newton is interesting because it's so close to Boston that buyers expect suburban convenience with easy city access, and in theory, that's true. But here's where the mismatch happens. First, commutes often take longer than expected. The Pike gets congested, the Green Line can be painfully slow, and depending on which village you're in, getting into Boston isn't always as quick as buyers assume. Second, Newton is massive, and the difference between villages is enormous. Newton Center feels completely different from Nonantum or Newton Highlands, and a lot of buyers don't research the villages deeply enough and end up in a neighborhood that doesn't match their lifestyle at all. Third, the housing stock is older than many first-time suburban buyers expect. There's a lot of maintenance, renovation costs, and updates needed. If you're commuting from a newer condo or expecting turnkey suburban living, Newton can be a really big surprise. Fourth, there's a price to product mismatch for some buyers. You're paying a premium for the Newton name, but you might not be getting the space, finishes, or convenience that you expect at that price point. Avoid Newton if you want low maintenance housing, a guaranteed easy commute, or a predictable neighborhood feel without doing that village research first. Newton is great for buyers seeking top-tier schools, strong community, beautiful established neighborhoods, and long-term stability, and those who understand the village differences before they buy. Sudbury represents that peaceful, spacious suburban dream. Big lots, strong schools, quiet streets, it's really beautiful. But here's the mismatch. First, the commute is long. If you're working in Boston regularly, this is a significant daily commitment. It's not just a quick 20-minute drive, it's real distance. Second, daily errands require driving. There's no walkable downtown. Everything is car dependent, and if you're used to urban or even inner suburban convenience, this will feel a lot more isolating. Third, younger buyers often feel isolated here. Because Sudbury does have a slower pace and a family-focused culture, if you're looking for social energy, restaurants, or nightlife, you aren't gonna find it here. Avoid Sudbury if you need regular access to Boston, crave convenience, or want a more vibrant social scene. Sudbury is really great for buyers who truly want land, privacy, top schools, and a quiet lifestyle, and are willing to trade convenience for space and peace. Andover often gets marketed as the affordable alternative to the inner suburbs. And yes, you do get more space for your money, but here's the mismatch. First, Andover is further than most buyers realize. It's not a quick commute to Boston. If you're working in the city regularly, this distance adds up fast. Second, the school pressure culture can feel really intense. Andover has excellent schools, but the academic expectations and competition can be really overwhelming for some families. Third, prices are climbing, which reduces the perceived value. You're not getting that same bang for your buck that you might have 5 or 10 years ago, and the taxes aren't low here either. Avoid Andover if you want a shorter commute, lower taxes, or a less academically intense environment for your kids. Andover is really great for families who prioritize space and strong schools and who are comfortable with being further from the city with a longer commute. Before we get into the top 5 suburbs you should avoid, I want to give you something that will save you months of confusion and guesswork. I've created a free Boston relocation guide that breaks down neighborhoods, lifestyle fit, commute realities, hidden costs, and the biggest mistakes people make when moving here. All you have to do is scan this QR code on your screen or click the link down below to download it. Wellesley is the polished luxury suburb. Beautiful homes, excellent schools, refined community. It has that reputation for a reason, but here's the mismatch. First, the cost of entry is extremely high, even for dated or modest homes. You're paying a significant premium just to be in Wellesley, and not every home delivers on the luxury lifestyle that buyers expect at that price point. Second, the market is competitive in nearly every price band. Inventory moves fast, and you're up against well-resourced buyers who know exactly what they want. Third, the commute isn't as predictable as buyers expect. Depending on where you are in town and your work location, it can take longer than anticipated. Fourth, walkability is limited. Outside of Wellesley Square, most of the town is car dependent. Avoid Wellesley if you want affordability or true walkability, or if you're stretching financially just to make it work. Wellesley is great for buyers who want refined suburban living, strong community, and top-tier schools, and who can comfortably afford the premium without the financial stress. Hingham has this incredible coastal charm. The downtown is picturesque, the schools are strong, and there's the ferry option for commuting. It looks like the perfect package, but here's where the mismatch happens. First, the ferry has real limitations. It doesn't run year-round on all schedules. Weather can disrupt it, and if you're not working near the waterfront in Boston, you still need to figure out how to get from the ferry terminal to your office. Second, the commute is longer than expected for most people. If you're driving, it's real distance, and traffic on Route 3 can be brutal. Third, the infrastructure and amenities get crowded. Hingham is growing really fast, and the town center, restaurants, and services can feel packed, especially on the weekends. Avoid Hingham if you need consistent, fast access to Boston for work, or if you're relying heavily on the ferry without a backup plan. Hingham is great for families who want a picturesque coastal lifestyle, strong community, and are comfortable with a longer commute in exchange for that South Shore charm. Concord is historic, beautiful, and idyllic. It's the New England postcard. Rolling hills, preserved land, cultural attractions. But here's the mismatch. First, the pace is very slow. If you're used to activity, energy, or variety, Concord will feel quiet, sometimes too quiet. Second, you're car dependent for nearly everything. There's no walkable downtown with daily conveniences. You're driving to groceries, errands, restaurants, and everything. Third, it's expensive for the lifestyle you get if you crave activity or stimulation. You're paying a premium here for privacy and nature, but if that's not your top priority, you might feel like you're not getting value. Avoid Concord if you want stimulation, convenience, or walkability, or if you need regular, easy access to Boston. Concord is great for buyers who truly crave nature, privacy, culture, and space, and for those who are willing to trade convenience and energy for beauty and tranquility. Marblehead is the classic New England coastal dream. Narrow streets, historic homes, ocean views, tight-knit community. But here's the mismatch. First, the commute is tough and long. Getting into Boston daily is a significant commitment, whether you're driving or taking public transit. Second, winter isolation is real. When the weather turns, Marblehead can feel really remote. The charm of coastal living fades when you're dealing with snow, ice, and long dark winters on the North Shore. Third, the narrow streets and limited parking can be frustrating. And if you're used to modern suburban convenience, Marblehead's historic infrastructure can feel really impractical. Avoid Marblehead if you need easy, consistent access to Boston, or if you're not prepared for the realities of coastal New England winters. Marblehead is really great for buyers who want community, charm, and an ocean lifestyle, and those who are willing to embrace the trade-offs that come with living in a historic coastal town. Weston is at the top of the list for a reason. It's prestigious, private, and has some of the best schools in Massachusetts. But here's the mismatch. First, there's very limited walkability. Weston doesn't have a downtown. There's no village center where you can walk to or grab coffee or dinner. It's entirely car dependent. Second, the carrying costs are among the highest in Massachusetts. Between taxes, maintenance, and the cost of entry, you're looking at significant ongoing expenses. Third, the social and lifestyle fit isn't aligned with what many younger buyers expect. Weston is quiet, private, and very family focused. If you're looking for neighborhood activity, community events, or social energy, you won't find it here. Avoid Weston if you want neighborhood activity, community convenience, like I just said, or a walkable lifestyle, or if the carrying costs would stretch you financially. Weston is really great for buyers who truly want land, privacy, and top-tier schools, and who are comfortable with quiet, car-dependent lifestyles that prioritize space and education above all else. If you're relocating to Greater Boston or trying to figure out which suburbs actually match your lifestyle and budget, not just the fantasy version you see on social media, the smartest next step is to schedule a consultation with me and my team. We've helped hundreds of families avoid the exact mistakes that we talked about today. My contact information is in the description below. And if you're still deciding between different parts of Greater Boston, you need to watch this video next. It's my full breakdown of South Shore versus North Shore, the pros, cons, lifestyle differences, commuting realities, and who each region is actually best for. Click right here on your screen to watch that right now.